Hello, and welcome back to the ministry. Today we are talking about when you are in love with someone and how in tune with one another you are. I wanted to come back and talk about this. I saw this article in my articles to go over yesterday, but something in me didn't want to go over it yet. But I was scanning through television last night and I saw my show from when I was a kid, and I was watching what happened in that particular episode. And between the two people that are like destined to be together. And the thing about it is this. I came to the realization that life is not what we assume that it should be. Life is not a fairy tale. Life is not even a television show. But there are some elements about it that help us to realize what we want, what we don't want. Sometimes if we see a character go through a series of events, we can come to the realization, I don't want anything to go through this type of experience in our own lives. But sometimes I've come to find that when we are in relationship with people, relationship is unpredictable. We want the elements of a relationship to be perfection. We want the elements of a relationship that all things are working out in order. We want the elements of relationship to be that our hearts beat in sync, that you feel that kind of love, that you are so in tune with the other person that they can read your thoughts and your feelings. The love is unconditional and everything is all good, and you can deal with the good, bad, and the ugly days. That they care for you when you're sick, or thoughtful of you when you're tired, or the way to do something special for you when you didn't expect it. The person that can lay beside you and you intertwine your hands and it's just no other place that you'd rather be. But life and reality happens. I remember I was listening to who was it? Erica Campbell, and she was talking about to her and her husband's church that when they first got married, that they thought she had the assumption that they would be intimate all the time and all this kinds of stuff, and he's still busy. He still had the career that he had, and he had to adjust to her being there. And some of that, it's the element of priority. We want the romanticism of a relationship, but men don't think like we do. I remember I was listening to the Apostle about 2 years ago, maybe 3, and he did a broadcast where he talked about men, and he was talking about how men have an animalistic characteristic about them that is always going to be there that we need to come to the understanding of. And last night when I was watching that show, I came to the realization of a lot of us want men in our lives that are going to be that guy that is the perfect epitome of we can lay and intertwine our fingers and do all of the sweet and nice things, but they still men. And the fact of the matter is, some of these men that are coming into our lives, they've been hurt, they've been jaded, they've been through things, they've gone through hell and back in their own relationships. And when they come to us, they need to heal. As I was watching the scene from last night's episode, the man came to the woman and fell at her feet. And all he wanted was to hold on to her because she was all he had ever wanted to begin with. And he was collapsing because of the fact he'd been through so much just to get back to her, and coming into the recognition that she was there, he realized he was safe. These men that are coming into our lives, they need to know that we are safe. They need to know that all of the animalistic characteristics that they had to use in order to remain safe and secure, protected, and protect themselves, they have. Some of them have come out of relationships with Delilahs that was straightly trying to kill them. Trying to kill their character, trying to kill everything that they built, and some are just straightly trying to kill them. They need to know that who they have is a safe place to rest. And yeah, we want the relationship that, what was I saying? Yeah, we want the relationship that the person treats you and cares for you, and you're a precious gold to them. We want to make them a better person, and they push you to be a better person. You feel safe in the arms of this person, and they sweep you up and kiss you every time you look at each other. You fall back in love. We want that. We want that. We want that. But what if this person, and somebody was making this point yesterday, that some of these people that are coming into your lives have a security about themselves and a boldness about themselves, or even a authoritativeness to carry a space in a room, that assertiveness is the word I was looking for, that may appear intimidating or like they're controlling to a degree. It's much like a scenario I remember years ago. I was listening to a woman, and she was talking about when she was in her job, she had to carry a level of authority and assertiveness because she was surrounded by a lot of men in the position she was in. She was a lawyer, so she was surrounded by a lot of male lawyers, and in order to run a room and be able to dissect a client's information and all this kind of stuff for meetings over certain clients and specific types of things that she was dealing with, she had to be an authority to even be respected. But to a man that she was in relation with, he thought she was too powerful for him, and it actually scared him away. And for some of us, some of the men that we are going to be involved with, they're not so much animalistic, male predatorial business, what have you, but their assertiveness that they understand how to be in certain rooms is going to be maybe a little bit shocking to you, because we want the guy that's romantic and sweet and this and and some of that, when they come to you, and let's say God's given you a gift to do X, Y, or Z. Once they assess you and come to the understanding, especially if you're asking them for help to assist you because you're God ordained partners, they might push you to a degree that little bit of romantic, loving caringness, you wanted the person to be supportive, right? You wanted the person to push you, right? You wanted the person. But what if they push you in a way that their authoritativeness about them kind of feels controlling, whether it feels controlling of the thing that in which you wanted their help with, or it feels controlling in the element of the way that it needs to be done in order for it to be pursued correctly. It don't feel good. It don't feel like la-di-da. It doesn't feel like, ooh, this is gonna work out. It don't feel like that. It feels like almost controlling in a degree, because they have the ability and skill set that you do not, and they are giving you a level of direction that you may not feel comfortable with, because you wanted, oh, Mr. Romantic, oh, this, that, and the other. But in order for him to be the person that's going to help you and assist you in building what it is that you need to build together, he's going to have to switch from romantic to authority. He's going to have to switch from, you understand what I'm saying? And it may be an adjustment period. Perfect example, going back to what I was saying about Erica Campbell and her husband. When they first got married, he was very enthralled with being a music producer. So his energy wasn't completely focused on his wife. Some of these men have careers that they've had their careers for as long as they can remember. And to be in a relationship with you, it's not that they are going to ignore you. It's just that they have to adjust to you, one, being there, and two, not being like the person that they were with, which probably didn't care about how much they worked, or probably didn't give too much of a care when it came down to them or emotional connection or what have you. But you do, so it may take them a minute to adjust, to come down from feeling like, okay, it's safe to be here with you. So they might start off as assertive and controlling, but you got to break through some walls first in order to come to the understanding that, wait, this is going to take a minute before we're going to get to the level of this person is fully in tune with you. Do we want that? Yes. Do they want that? They probably do. But life happens, and we live in a world that life is in existence. So we have to be understanding of the fact that these things are there. We want to have the person to say, I've never met anyone in the world like you. We want the my life wasn't complete till I met you. We want the elements that the man can be humbled, tears when they speak about us. That kind of love, that's the kind of love we all crave. We crave oxygen. We crave it like it's oxygen. True love. Love that means there is no pain. But the fact of the matter is, a relationship is going to have pain. It's going to have trauma. It's going to have those things because you're taking two people that have been through a lot and you're putting them in a relationship together. Some of us, it's a blessing that the Lord is going to deal with a lot of the stuff that the other person has been through before they come into relationship with us. But there's some, they're still dealing with it. Perfect example. Michelle heard the voice of the Lord. When she got married to her husband, she met her husband through a friend. The friend had actually been his prior wife, but she was sick at the time. And she and that woman had a wonderful relationship. They were very respectable of one another. When the woman passed away suddenly, both of them were emotional about it, and she actually was not looking for this man in any way to get into a relationship with him. What ended up happening was she was interested in helping the kids get through the process after their mother had passed, because she had been friends with the woman, so, and she had kids too, so she was like, let me see if I can help you deal with these children, because I know they need emotional support after them losing their mother. And that's when him and her got close together. And it happened quickly. They started dating within a 6-month period, and it was less than a year that they got married. But he had gone through the trauma of losing his wife before he met her. Some of these men have gone through certain traumatic experiences. Maybe the person before you did something unforgivable to them that it's going to take them a minute to adjust to even the thought process of getting into a relationship with you and being emotionally vulnerable with that level, just like I was saying, to that level, that true love that means no pain, no hurt, no sorrow comes with it, loving you with in all of the ways and making love to you like you're the most precious glass, so that when that person declares your life to them and you married to them and all of these things, that you never want to let them go, you come to the understanding that it takes time, that it's not that in the beginning. We learned that in the movie Enchanted. There were a lot of things that were in the way to him and her coming together, but they fell in love quickly. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be obstacles. It doesn't mean that there aren't going to be people around. It doesn't mean that this, that, and the other isn't going to be in place. The love is going to be there. It's just going to not be a fairy tale. And you're going to have to work through it together. You're going to have to heal through it together. You're going to have to, you both have been through some things, and you're going to have to face those things head on as you move into and merge into these relationships and marriages, because you're going to have to face some things that maybe as a single person you never had to face, that is going to prove whether you fully healed from previous issues, because of the fact that you're going to be tested within that relationship. We want the perfection, but are we willing to walk through the darkness in the parts that don't feel good as we're coming into? Yes, you're going to have the romantic. Yes, you're going to have the vacations. Yes, you're going to have the moments of the photographs and the sweet things and the cooking dinner together and the smiling and getting to know each other and all of these kinds of things. You're going to have those moments, but you have to realize you're still dealing with two emotional people. Yes, you've healed. Yes, they healed, and some of them are still healing. But the point is, just like I said, when the character fell to the woman's feet, he knew that she was the one that was going to help him get through it. She was his safe place. And that's what we're going to need to be for these men. A safe place. They may know how to smile to a camera. They may know how to turn on when they're surrounded by certain people. They may know how to do that, but you're still dealing with a human being. You're still dealing with an emotional person. You're still dealing with a person that is still a person. And they don't switch emotions through the convenience of what is okay to you. If you're with somebody that switches their emotions specifically to the cadence of who you are, you need to question. Because I've been in a relationship with people that did that. They only adjusted themselves to what you needed and never adjusted to being mutual, which led to confusion in the relationship because they were only doing what they felt that you wanted. But we're not satisfying their desires within the relationship, which isn't a relationship. It's a one-sided experience. And if they're not getting their needs met because they're trying to meet your needs, where are they getting their needs met? You understand what I'm saying? And I know for a fact that person was getting their needs met elsewhere. So the thing about it is, you're going to have to come to the understanding, and are you ready to take on the responsibility of, yes, this person is coming into my life and we're going to have our sweet moments, but we have to communicate. The one thing that the enemy fights us all on is communication, being able to be readily available to the people that are around us the way that we need to be readily available. He fights us in that. He fights us in being able to communicate our feelings. I was listening to another young woman who is currently in her kingdom marriage season and is communicating with her God ordained spouse. And she was talking about, you have to understand that the biggest things that she was dealing with was the fact that every time her and her God ordained spouse began to communicate, that's the most attack she ever got. Every time she got an opportunity to communicate with him and they deal with issues that they may have been having within their relationship, she ended up in immediate warfare afterwards. Because the enemy don't like that. Half of the reason why some of us are waiting on our kingdom spouses and seasons that the Lord already told us that our spouses are coming is because the enemy has been trying to interfere, trying to split, trying to separate, trying to fight us in getting into the relationship in which we're ordained to get into. Demonically delay it, all kinds of confusion, come against their mind, come against our mind, come against in any way he can, because these God ordained relationships, once they come together, it's a wrap. And yes, it's exhausting to be in warfare, fighting mental, emotional, physical, spiritual attacks for them and over us. It is. But it's worth it when we get the relationship. It's worth it. The fact that we were willing to stand, the fact that we were willing to walk through and walk into these things. I was listening to a prayer call this morning, and the woman was saying there's things that are coming into your life that when people see it, people are going to be talking about you in a good way, because most of them are going to be scratching their heads trying to figure out, how did you get that? How did you get that guy? How did you get that house? How did you get your money in order like that when we know you? We saw it. They're not going to be able to stop talking, mostly for the fact that they aren't going to be able to understand, how did that happen for her, for him. And the fact of the matter is, there are so many people that talk about kingdom marriage like it's more of a curse than a blessing. Let's be real about it. There's so many people that talk about kingdom marriage like it's a curse than a blessing. But I'm thankful for people like Tiffany Montgomery that talk about the fact that you can pray peace over your relationship. You can pray no arguments. You can pray that you are covered in the covenant of peace over your relationship, that there will be no arguing, there will be no strife, there will be no confusion within your relationship. You can pray that. Just because that was a scenario that happened in somebody else's situation doesn't mean that's going to be your situation. And if you are sitting there receiving messages that are saying, oh, it's going to be this bad and this bad and this bad and bad and bad and bad and bad and bad, and it's that element of no. You don't have to receive that. You don't have to feed into that. You don't have to feel like that's what it's going to be. You can reject that thought process. It doesn't have to be you, but you have to pray into what you want to see. And then once you pray into what you want to see, you have to have faith that that's what you're going to get. Because the enemy, yeah, he gonna try it. Yeah, the enemy's gonna try your spouse. Yeah, the enemy's gonna try you. Yeah, there may be moments where you're going to have certain amounts of conflict within your relationship. And it's just a moment in which communication is necessary. Instead of getting angry, instead of getting frustrated, you need to communicate. You need to pray over your relationship that your spouse has the open communication line, that he can hear you when you are trying to communicate your feelings towards whatever it is. Some of the people that you're called to get into a relationship, some of them used to have habits, whether it be drinking or smoking. And you got to pray over the fact that the enemy not manipulate those habits to try to block what you need to say to them. Ask me how I know. I've seen it with other family members. If you need to have a conversation with particular people, sometimes they'll be in a non-sober state of mind. And that's what will start your arguments. And that's what will, you get what I'm saying? You got to pray over them because you're supposed to be in calm communication. You got to pray over temptations. You got to pray over the elements of their mind. Remember what I said, get the book, The Power of a Praying Wife. There's a prayer in there about the temptations and the certain levels of temptations, whether it be alcoholism, whether it be what is it? Alcoholism, gambling, pornography, all of those types of things. It's a prayer in there to pray against all of those types of things that could come against the peace of your marriage. And every time I've prayed that, I've gone into warfare, oppressive warfare. Because whatever was being done, that as I prayed that, it caused a spiritual warfare to ensue, because I was breaking something for my God ordained spouse. And that's what we got to do. We got to pray. So yeah, we want our hearts to be in sync with theirs. But we got to remember our position and remember our post. I'll even admit, I've been praying for my God ordained spouse, but I haven't been praying to the degree that I know I have been previously. And now's the time to be doing that. So don't forget your position and don't forget your post. Because these men need it. Just like that man was in that episode I was looking at. He's seeking you out. You are his strength in his time of weakness. So you need to cover him in the weak spots. Don't forget that. That's pretty much what my word is. I hope it blessed you. Much love, faith, peace, and blessings. Bye-bye.